Hi everyone. Good evening, good morning. Hi Divya, hi Anil, hi Ashley. Thanks for joining. Great. Let's wait for others to join and we will start in a few minutes. Great, thank you.
Thank you for calling Houston Methodist Primary Care Group, League City. If you are experiencing
Okay, so we'll get started. Let's see how many people are going to join later. As I already mentioned in the agenda, the event agenda, we will discuss about some interesting questions from risk management knowledge area today. For the exam, PMP exam, risk management is important because we will get many tricky questions from risk management. So today we will solve some high quality questions, scenario based questions from risk management. I have in total 4 questions for today's discussion, and uh, to solve these questions, yes, we need to know about risk management. In addition to risk management, we also should know how risk management influences other processes, other areas like scope, uh, cost management, and then procurement and so on, and vice versa. How other knowledge areas, processes influence risk management. Okay, so here's your first question. Can you please confirm whether the question are you able to see the question clearly? Yes. Okay. You can unmute and speak. You can also, if you wish, you can turn on your camera. Anil, Divya, and Ashley, you can turn on your camera if you like. Okay. So you have 1 minute time. Once you are done with the hi, Divya. Once you are done, you can provide your answer in the chat. Okay. Hi, Valavan. Hi. Hi, everyone. Hi, Anand. Hi, Srishti. Thanks for joining. Okay. So this is our first question. As I mentioned, we are solving questions from a risk management knowledge area today. And these questions are about not just about risk management, also how risk management is influenced by other processes. Okay. All right. So please use the chat to provide your answers. And you can turn on your camera to make the interaction more live. So I request you to consider my request. Okay. D, Divya says D. Okay. Ashley says A. Let's see what to do next. Okay, if you want to change your answer, you can do so. Learners, if you like, please consider turning on your camera. Yesterday, the last week session was very interactive because you all turned on your camera. Okay, so consider turning on the camera. You know me very well. We worked together in the past. So I was your trainer. So feel free to turn on your camera if you like. Yeah, great. Thank you. All right, DD, chop chop. You have to be fast. You don't have more time to solve questions. Within 70 seconds, you have to solve questions. Okay. I understand, Ashley. Thanks. Thank you so much. Clear. So, hi, Srishti. Thanks for turning on the camera. Okay. So I could see answer from only few people. Divyanand, Ashley. Palaman, your camera is dark. I could see that you turn on your camera, but it's dark, completely dark.
I am fixing it. I am fixing it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. See, that's it. Great. Hi, Nil. Okay, thanks. Right. Okay, shall we solve this question? Emmy says it's C. Hi, Valavan. Thanks for turning on the camera. We could see you. Okay. Okay, let's solve this question. Dija is a senior project manager working for a leading. Can you break this one? Yeah, sure. We're going to do that. Okay. Dija is a senior project manager working for a leading semiconductor company following product development approach. Well, these are all useless information in the question. Okay. So what is important here is we are following predictive. Okay. Predictive development approach in the middle of the project. So we need to understand we started with the execution. So we are in the middle of the project. Okay. She identifies project SPI as 0.7. If the schedule performance index is less than 1, what is your opinion? Whether the schedule is good or no good? Are we behind the schedule or ahead of the schedule? So if the SPI value is less than 1, you can unmute and say like yes, no, maybe.
Behind the schedule.
It's behind.
We are behind the schedule. Right. Right. So both in case of SPI and CPI, if the value is less than 1, we are behind schedule. In case of SPI, in case of CPI, we are spending more money than the planned budget. So we have a problem, which bothers the sponsor. She reviewed the schedule network diagram with the dates. This is another format of presenting the schedule. So the project manager evaluated the schedule network diagram with dates and identified some activities with a finish to start relationship and discretionary dependency. Okay. She decided to apply leads to those activities to keep the schedule on track. So we know what is meant by lead, right? So it's same as fast tracking. Let's say you have two tasks with their first relationship. So this is the predecessor, this is the successor. We need to finish the predecessor to start the successor. That is about a first relationship, right? Now, when you have a task with this relationship, you can study the tasks, both the task, and figure out whether it's possible to advance the start date of the successor with respect to end date of the predecessor. Now, when you do that, we create some amount of overlap. Now, this is all about fast tracking, also called as lead, right? So we are technically doing fast tracking here. Now, what is the challenge we have with fast tracking? Of course, we don't need money, extra money like crashing.
Is it
So-
resource
If staff is not capable,
resources?
then we have a problem.
It increases the risk when you do.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. You all agree? So when you start the successor without fully completing the predecessor, it increases the risk. We have the risk of rework, right? So this question ends with the next step. What does Dija have to do next? Now, whenever you see the next type question, you have to think about the immediate next action. So you decided to apply fast tracking here, or you want to apply lead. And one of the consequence of applying lead is we have the possibility of rework. We have the risk of rework. So what we have to do next? we have to perform a risk analysis. Do you agree? We need to check whether by doing this, are we going to introduce any new risk into the project, right? Now let's look other options. Create a workaround because SPA is lagging metrics. Well, first, whatever you are doing here, applying lead, this itself a workaround. So workaround has been already decided. So you can eliminate this option. We have already created the workaround. Identify the issue owner since this is a workaround. Well, when it comes to fast tracking, crashing, and all this kind of things, who is responsible to do all these things? The PM or someone else? So you are the workaround
Yeah.
owner. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't have to identify anybody. So you can eliminate that as well. Raise a change request with impact analysis to make the necessary changes to the schedule. If you apply crashing, we will spend more money, and so we have to follow change management process. However, when it comes to fast tracking or applying lead, we don't have to use more money. Do you agree? So therefore, whenever you apply fast tracking, you don't have to use change management process. You can apply fast tracking and crashing in two stages in a project. So first we plan things, then we execute things. During planning stage, if you apply fast tracking and crashing, you don't have to follow change management process because we don't have the baselines. However, after we finish the planning and begin the execution, if you apply fast tracking, no problem. You don't have to raise a change request because you don't need extra money. You're not going to affect the cost baseline. However, if you apply crashing during execution, then you must follow CR. Now, in this case, we are applying lead. So this is another name for fast tracking. Therefore, though we do this in the execution stage of the project, we don't have to follow CR because we're not going to impact the project budget. So you can eliminate this option as well. The right answer is option D, perform risk analysis, because when you apply leads or otherwise called the fast tracking, we have the risk of rework and we have to proactively mitigate that risk. Are you clear why option D is correct? Many of you chose option D. Very good. Clear? Any questions, any doubts? Or you want to add some points to what we discussed? Good? Clear? Okay. Now you see risk management and scheduling as a connection. You will see these kind of questions in the exam. Actually, we are doing something related to scheduling, but you see there's a connection between scheduling and risk management. All right, now let's move on and solve the next question. Okay, you have only 75 seconds time. Within this time, you have to solve this question. This question seems to be very, straightforward, but it's a tricky question. So pay attention, solve the question carefully.
So this is when the project is already done and over with, right?
Can you please repeat your question?
So this is when the project has already been completed?
No, it's not completed. We are,
Oh.
about to start the project.
Okay.
And your sponsor is asking you to ensure you create more profit margins.
Okay.
I'm unable to
But
see
it
responses on
says
chat.
yours.
Is it like
Sorry.
C?
I'm sorry?
I'm unable to send my responses over chat. Somehow I'm not able to send it. So I'm saying that
Okay,
is the
okay.
option C?
I know
shall we-
why, for what reason you picked option C.
Okay.
That's not the reason. Okay, please reconsider your decision.
Okay.
So I am thinking this says your sponsor wants to take action to improve project's profit margin when the project is closed.
When
So
the
that
project
means
is closed. Yeah,
Future tense.
future tense, yes. When we close a project, make sure we make enough profits.
Ahmed, but in this
Yeah.
case, he's talking about except.
Ah,
Which of the following will help except? Will help you to achieve
yes.
this except.
Except.
Okay.
So it's a not type question. Very good. You will see except or not type question round about some 8 to 10 questions in the exam. Okay. All right. Let's solve this question. B. Well, this is a tricky question. Okay, because we're gonna solve only handful of questions in the weekly connect. So I brought some interesting questions. So by solving this question, you will also learn something new today. Okay. Now to solve this question, we need to know about 3 pieces of information. We should know about how the budget is maintained. What are the components we have inside the budget? Second, what is the connection between procurement and risk management? So it's about risk management, cost management, and procurement. Only if you know these 3 knowledge areas well, you will be able to solve this question. To solve this question, first let's begin with understanding the anatomy of our project budget. Okay, because here in the question it is mentioned that you want to increase your profit margin when the project is closed. Okay, let's understand the anatomy of the project budget. So this is your project budget. A project budget will 2 components. The first component is the money needed to do the planned project work and money needed to manage the identified risks. So this is your cost baseline. And inside the cost baseline, you will have money needed to do the planned work packages plus money needed to manage the project risks. We call this as contingency reserve. Do you all agree with me? Right? And what we have above this is called the management reserve. Right? Now, management reserve is meant for managing unplanned in scope work. Do you agree with me? Unplanned in scope work. You didn't plan something in the beginning of the project, but in the middle of the project, you're expected to do that work. Then you have to use the money from the management reserve. And one of the application or usage of management reserve is to implement workarounds we create for issue management, right? If you want to address issues, we create workarounds. And we normally don't create workarounds in the planning stage itself. We create risk responses, not workarounds. After we encounter an issue, we create workaround to fix the issue. And therefore, now in the middle of the project, we are supposed to do something new which we didn't plan before. And for that, we need money and time. And we're going to take that from the management reserve. Okay. Now, if you pay attention to the question, it is mentioned that we have signed for fixed price contract. Okay. We know there are many types of contracts. We have fixed price contract, cost reimbursable type contract. When it comes to cost reimbursable type contracts, once the project is over, whatever money left out in your management reserve, go back. It has to be returned to your customer. You understand? All right. When it comes to fixed price contract, whatever money left out in your management reserve towards the end of the project, it will become part of your project profit margin. You understand? You can keep that money. You don't have to return the money back to the client because you're signed for fixed price contract. Now, based on this, if you don't do a lot of issue management in your project, if you avoid or mitigate issues upfront, most likely you will have more money left out in your management reserve. When that happens, naturally, when you close a project, you and your management can keep the money left out in the management reserve, and that will get converted into your profit margin, project profit margin. You understand? Now that's the question. So therefore, the question asks, what are the things you should do to avoid issue management? If you avoid issue management, then most likely most of your money inside the management reserve can be preserved and it will become part of your project's profit margin. Okay. Now, if you understand this question, You can figure out this question deals with risk management, cost management, and procurement management. Okay, yeah. Now, if you see the options, because it's a next type question, you need to pick the first. You have to find out options that will help us to avoid issues. Okay, avoid workarounds. First one, consulting expert and referring to commercial databases. Now, if you want to make informed decision, do better planning, it's good to consult with some experts, take their advice so that you do things correctly. You don't mess up with your project work and you can avoid a lot of issue management later. So this is a valid input to increase your profit margin, product profit margin. Second, we have spikes. Some of you picked spikes because spike is from agile, and this question is stated as it's from predictive. Okay, we are following predict development approach. Now, there are some concepts which are common for both predictive and agile. For example, servant leadership. Okay, there are some concepts in agile is not applicable for predictive. For example, iteration planning. Okay, product backlog, the role of the product owner, self-organizing teams. These things are not applicable for agile, predictive. They're only applicable for agile. But things like spikes is a fancy name given to experiments. Before doing something, you want to fail in a controlled way, whether this solution will work out or not. So we conduct solution spike. We want to validate it. Okay. So spikes are another name for doing experimentation, validation of a solution before we apply that solution, implement that solution. Okay. So you can use spikes even in predictive projects. So you cannot rule out like, spike as iteration, planning or velocity or story points. They are only applicable for agile projects. You understand? But spike is not just applicable for agile projects. You can also follow spikes in projects following predictive development approach. When you do spikes, you can understand whether the solution will work out or not. And so you won't fail later. And when you fail later, you have to spend a lot of money to fix things, okay, to rework, to fix things. And that will again cost you a lot of money from the management reserve. All right. The next one is effective stakeholder engagement. If you properly engage with your stakeholders, you will understand what they expect you to do. You will be able to develop the right requirements and do the work correctly. So you can avoid rework and workarounds, issues and fixes. So all these three options are going to help you to avoid issues. And by doing so, you will be able to retain more money in your management reserve, except this one. Now, this is all about probe sense act. So we collect the work performance data. We compare the work performance data against the expected values, and we find variance. Once we identify variance, variance or issues. So we create workarounds to fix them. We take corrective actions, right? Now, this is all about issue management. Now, if you do a lot of issue management, you won't be able to retain most of the money you have in your management reserve. So therefore, this is an except type question. You're going to eliminate these valid ones and go with the odd man out. So option A is the correct answer. Clear? Why option A is correct?
Hamad, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, analyze the work performance. That is also very important. And if we analyze frequently, then we can identify the problems. We can fix it very quickly and as early as possible. Otherwise, if we don't fix it as soon as identified, then what happens? It will create a lot of problem in the later stage. So this is also one of the valid point.
Of course, yes, but in essence, this is issue management.
I think the project has not started yet, according to the question. So
yes, correct.
As long as we'll not start the project, we cannot take corrective actions. That was my understanding.
Yeah, but my understanding is little. Yeah, my understanding is little different because it is a planning stage, and because they are taking the precautions. What type of the precaution we have to do it? That is one of the way we have to analyze the data frequently. Then we have to fix the bugs. That is also one of the good things, because normally monitoring and controlling part, we are doing this kind of things. For example, it does not mean some of the issues we don't want to spend the money. For example, fast tracking. we have the enough resources and we have the qualified staff, we can easily do it. Okay, and we can use the resource leveling and blah blah things. We can do it, handle nicely, and with a handful of resources. So that is the reason. This is also one of the valid point. While
this is a valid point. Yeah, see, A is also a valid point, but not. See, we have to do this continuously. That's why we have monitoring and controlling processes. You mentioned it correctly, but these three things are about being proactive. This is about being reactive. And do you agree with me?
Yes,
I agree. It's about being reactive.
Yeah, I agree, Ahmad. Now we are in the planning stage. Yeah. So it means we make some plan in beforehand. It is a project. Okay.
No, we can only do. We will only get work performance data once we begin the work.
That's
once
true.
We do the execution.
But my argument is like that's true, but now we are planning. Okay, every week we have to analyze the work performance data. If we have the problem, we have to fix it. What are the strategy we can use it? Okay, we have the handful smart resources, so we can shift resources here and there. This way, I thought.
See, okay, correct. See, if everything is fine, then you don't have to take any action. But if there's a variance, you need to take action, right?
Okay.
Now, when you take action, you're going to take money from the management reserve. These activities don't need money from the management reserve. But if you want to take corrective action, you need to consume your management reserve. So the more corrective actions you take later, you're going to consume most of the money you have in your management reserve. And that is not good for the profit margin, retaining more profit margin.
Okay. So what about the spike? For the experiment, where we will get the money?
See, when it comes to doing experimentation, we will plan this as an activity and keep it inside the cost baseline.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
These are planned activities. You're going to pay to the consultant. You're going to conduct some experiments. You're going to plan effective stakeholder engagement. These are planned activities. This is kind of, you check your body temperature. If you have fever, you go to the doctor. You're not taking a vaccine, a friend, to avoid going to the doctor, getting fever. You understand? So this is being reactive. Unknown. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Yes. Ashley, you have a question, please.
I do. So I just want to ask you, because I am reading these questions and I'm reading so deep into the questions. I'm thinking like outside of the box. So how do I stop from doing that? So it is taking me a little bit longer to answer them because my mind is every piece and I'm trying to, I guess, analyze the question. And I think that's hurting me because I'm reading into it. Like, for example, when it said your sponsor wants you to take action to improve the project's profit margins when the project is closed. Well, I'm seeing it as, okay, the project is already closed and the sponsor came back and said, hold on, our profit margins weren't where we were supposed to be. So how can we do this for the next project? You see, that's where my mind is going.
Okay, understand. Now, you always need to pay attention to this last sentence in the question. Okay, that will help you to, calibrate your understanding about the scenario. What is expected from you? So pay attention to the last part of the question. Here, profit margin and how to retain more profit margin when the project is closed. Now, after my explanation, I hope you are able to connect the dots. Yes, no, maybe, Ashley?
Yes, I am. I just have to get out of the mindset that I'm in. The way that I think is hurting me for these
Exactly.
questions.
So you are not the first person to experience this. Even when I prepared, I too took some time to calibrate my mindset. So after solving some 100 questions, you will know how to approach questions, and that's the very purpose why we conduct this session. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening with us too, Ashley. So you don't have to worry about it. It's happening
Okay.
with everybody. I guess.
Okay. Oh Like I'm so,
We are the same boat.
Okay, great. All right, so we have 10 more minutes. We'll solve one more question and then we will close the discussion. Okay? Yeah. This one or this one? Which one we do? Okay, we'll do this one. Yeah, this one. Let's do this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Which there's a question in the chat: in which type of contracts the management reserve money will go back to client? In cost reimbursal type contract. Jayaprakash. Cost reimbursal type contracts. How spikes are different in agile and predictive? Well, we just call experiments as spikes, or activities we conduct to validate solutions as spikes in agile. We do the same even in predictive, but we don't call them as spikes. We call them as experiments or validation or study, okay, or prototyping and so on. You're welcome. B. Okay. Okay. Ready? Shall we solve the question? Or you want me to wait for some more time?
No, you can go on.
Okay, thanks. Let's do it. A highly qualified team is working on a project setting up a new gen nuclear reactor. Again, this and all useless information. In the exam, even you will have a striker. With that, you can strike out the useless information. All right. But don't do this for every question. You will spend extra time. When you mark a question for review, so there will be an option for mark for review. Only when you mark a question for review, strike out the useless information so that when you review it later, that question later, it's going to make your review process easier. Okay. But otherwise, don't use it. Striker. If you use it for every question, you're going to consume more time. During planning, the team made extensive risk identification. One of the identified risks is highly unlikely to occur, but can affect the project objectives if it occurs. The team accepted the risk. So if you accept the risk, do we have risk response for it? Do we create any risk response to mitigate the risk proactively? We don't do it. When it comes to risk strategies, risk management strategies, we have avoid, prevent, escalate, enhance, and so on. When it comes to accept, transfer, share, and so on, when it comes to accept, we accept the risk because the risk PI value is lesser than our organization's risk threshold. So okay, this is a small risk. If it occurs, let's take the impact and manage it as an issue. But if you think about a risk, it's a condition of uncertainty. It may or may not happen. But if it occurs, because this is a small risk, we are not going to have a big impact. Okay, that is your understanding. So you accepted the risk. For accepted risk, there won't be any risk response. Okay, we won't have any plan. We won't plan for any risk response and manage the risk proactively. And the team members named this risk as risk X and kept it under radar because as we progress, sometimes the probability value or impact score of the risk will improve. And so the PA score will increase. When the PA score of a risk, which was accepted, exceeds the organization's risk threshold, then we must manage that risk, okay, by creating a risk response. In the middle of the project, now we are in the execution. The team went through the work performance data, did variance analysis, and identified a variance that is caused by risk X. Now, this is about, issue management. Do you agree? Now, people couldn't see this happening. In the background, somehow this risk has occurred, and they sensed it by analyzing the work performance data. When we perform the work, we collect the data, maybe let's say we took more time to complete the work, excuse me. Or there are a lot of quality issues. And we studied why there is more quality issues than anticipated. Then we found that there is a issue. And after finding the root cause of this issue, we found that it is because of risk X. Because risk X has occurred, it became an issue. Now, what would you do now? That is the question. Now, are we going with risk management or issue management here to address this thing? Can we do
Issue
risk management?
Issue
Yeah,
management.
very good. You all agree with Vallavan? We have to do issue management here. Okay, so this risk was identified, but we didn't. We just accepted the risk. We didn't plan for any risk response, and without the knowledge of the team, it has occurred. Now it is an issue. We cannot go with risk management here. Yes, Yemi, please.
Yeah. I got confused here, and that's why I can't just touch the question, because I'm looking at the risk, and I began to see issue. But again, because it says unattended risk becomes issue. But this has been attended to, in quotes, because we identified it and we kept it under the radar as a risk. So how did it become an issue? That's my question.
See, though we kept the risk under radar, when we keep a risk under radar, we monitor its whether its probability value and impact value, impact score are increasing or decreasing. Okay, and whether this risk could happen. And though people did the best without their knowledge, this risk has occurred, and they found this after doing a postmortem. That is, they collected the work performance data, they evaluated the data, and then we found, okay, this variance is caused by risk. Without our knowledge, risk X has occurred. Okay, normally if you haven't identified this, if you identified this risk and didn't go with the accept strategy, instead let's you have some risk response, let's say mitigate strategy after the occurrence of the risk. Though now it became an issue, you will mitigate it with the planned risk response. It's like your system is getting affected with a virus. You already identified this and you are prepared. You have the antivirus software. Now you're going to run the virus scan, and remove this virus from your system. Let's say you didn't do this. You just accepted this risk. Now you have a new virus entered your computer. You cannot implement any risk response. Yes, you have a problem now, but you cannot mitigate this with a planned risk response because you didn't do it. And therefore, we have to now go for managing it as an issue. Probably you need to format your computer, all right, to remove the virus from your computer. So now you are doing issue management. Now with that, you can say you can eliminate updating the risk register. There's no point of updating the risk register. It has already become an issue. So you can eliminate that. Also, you cannot use the contingency reserve because accepted risks won't have risk responses. If there are no risk responses, there won't be any contingency reserve planned for them. Okay, so you can eliminate that as well. And the next thing what you have to do is we're going to go with issue management. But when it comes to issue management, the first step is to update the issue log. Then we create the workaround to address the issue. Then we identify the issue owner. Then we implement the workaround. We create a change request, because to implement workaround we need extra time, extra money. We need to update our schedule, our budget. Then we go with change request. But we do this, but not as the first step. The first step is to go with in updating the issue log. And that's why option B is correct. Good. Yes, Vibhu, you have a question, please.
Yes, sir. I was reading the other day about risk management, and it said that the risks with low PI score would be maintained under watch list.
Yes, correct.
So, so watch list is a separate document, or is it a part of the risk register?
Part of the risk register. So in the risk register, we will have a column for risk strategy and risk response. So whatever risk we marked, going to manage with, we accept it. We plan to use accept strategy. Those risks PA scores need to be continuously evaluated throughout the project as part of monitored risk process, because there are chances that either the probability score or impact score or both can increase. And when that happens, you have to plan for valid risk response and manage them proactively. Okay.
So, and the main difference between risk and issues would be like issues are in present tense and risk would
Exactly.
be future tense, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
perfect. Thank you.
So, yeah, most welcome. And in my website, you will find a blog on risk, issue, and change management, the interdependency between risk, issue, and change management. Kindly read this blog, very useful blog. In the exam, you will see minimum 10 questions or 8 questions. Okay, not sure, but not less than 8 questions coming from risk, issue, and change management. So to solve them, you should know how to um, understand the scenario well and figure out whether this question is about issue management, risk management, or change management. Okay, clear?
Yes, thank you. Last time we covered agile, and my question is about how many questions do you think we'll see on the test from agile?
The PMP,
Yes.
90% of 90 questions, 50% of the questions will come from agile.
Okay.
So we have 180 questions, right, for the exam.
Yes.
Out of this 180 questions, 90 questions will come from predictive, and the remaining 90 questions will come from agile.
Got it. Okay.
You're welcome. Okay. All good, fine. Okay. There are a couple of questions. So could it be termed as event as happened and has happened? Yes. A thing that has occurred is an issue that the thing we foresee is about risk. Now, when it comes to issues are always negative. When it comes to risks are both positive and negative. We call positive risks as opportunities and negative risks as threats. Okay, yeah. So kindly go to Gantt Scholar website. In the inside blog, you have a wonderful blog on risk, issue, and change management. Please read this blog. It will certainly help you. Yes, Jayaprakash, you're right. Yes. You're right. Perfect. Okay, good, fine. Shall we wrap up the call? Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you found this discussion useful. Next week, we will solve questions from people domain. Okay. Some interesting questions from people domain. I will share you the invite to join the session next week, Wednesday.
Sir, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, please.
So for the invite link, can we keep the same invite link like today? A lot of people had joined on the previous link because, Microsoft Teams create a chat and it typically holds on to you on that specific chat. So if you keep the link same, everyone just has to click on the link.
I can do that. I can do that. I will make this invite recurring, and you can just accept this invite, and you will be able to join every week using the same link. I will do that. Thanks for the suggestion, Divya.
That would be great. Thank you, Divya. Thank you so much, sir.
No problem.
Yeah, I will do that. I will make sure this link is valid, and I will make this meeting a reoccurring meeting. Okay.
Okay, so we will then use this link, today's link. Okay.
Today's link. Yes. Okay. Yes. You will also get the update. Yeah. If you have accepted this meeting, then you will get the update. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome.
I have a question, Pooja here.
Please.
So I have seen, like, when I was trying the question answer on the PMP thing, suppose there it's mentioned that you have to choose 2 options, and then when during the answer they're providing 3 answers. So if it is, I mean, explicitly mentioned that I have to select 2 answers, then I will be selecting only 2, right? And
yeah,
if
correct.
and there are few cases where it is S is written in the bracket and they're expecting I need to select more than 1 option if there is any. So that kind of questions also will be there in the exam,
Yeah, of
where they
course.
don't specify that 2 or 3, but there is like in bracket there is S.
Yeah, okay, I understand. So definitely you'll see this kind of question, Pooja. This is called multiple response type question. And out of 180 questions, you can expect some 8 questions like this. Okay, maximum 8 questions to 10 questions like this. I recently had interaction with one of my student who passed the exam. She also confirmed that she faced some 8 questions, multiple correct answers type questions. Now, let's say this is a question and you won't see radio buttons. Instead, you will see check boxes. So that how you need to first identify it's a multiple response type question, and then you will be able to select multiple options. In radio button, you cannot do this. You can only select one option, but with this check boxes, you will be able to select multiple options. Okay, and how to find out that how many answers I need to select. Now this is the next button. This is the this is the next button, and this is previous. Okay, previous button. Now let's say this question is expecting you to select 2 correct answers or 3 correct answers. Okay, there are 4 options. Out of these 4 options, 3 options are correct. Now after you select 2 options, next button will not be enabled. It will be disabled. Now you select 3 options, then it will be enabled. That way you can find out how many options we need to select. Okay, so you first select 1, 2, then check whether the next button is getting enabled. The moment you see the next button is getting enabled, you have selected the required number of options. But are they correct? That is the question. You have to pick the correct answer. So if you select, if let's say in this case, for this question, you are expected to select 3 options out of 4. If you select any 3 option, only then the next button will be enabled. Okay, so that way you can ensure, okay, I'm selecting the required number of options before you go and take the next question. Clear? You understand, Pooja? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Fine. Any other question? All good? Shall we close today's discussion?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're most welcome. And have a wonderful week ahead. We'll meet next week. Bye, everyone. Take care. And thanks for joining. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Take care. Bye.